It is so crazy nowadays that almost everybody at some point is getting adrenal fatigue. Like 80 to 90% of the world's population at some point in their lives are getting adrenal fatigue, and most people, they don't even understand what adrenal fatigue really is, okay? Why it results in certain symptoms, why you actually get adrenal fatigue, what the adrenals even are. Like, I feel like not a lot of people are talking about the adrenals, and meanwhile, it's the most important endocrine gland of our bodies. And the adrenal glands, they're just so underrated. And when I look at the lifestyle of our population, of the world we're living in right now, there's actually no surprise that we have an adrenal fatigue epidemic, basically, because our adrenals are just so weak. But what does it even mean when you have adrenal fatigue? And this is especially like people in higher demanding jobs and more stressful jobs, professionals, business owners, they tend to get more adrenal fatigue because the more stress you have, the more it can wear and tear your adrenals. So you end up with adrenal fatigue. But a lot of people think, even the functional medicine doctor or just doctors in general, I mean, regular doctors, unhappy when they know where the adrenals are and what they do, but they don't even care about them probably most of the time. They just know they produce some hormones, but that's it. And the adrenals, when they're weak, okay, what almost everybody doesn't really get, it doesn't mean that your adrenals are just weak and they just don't produce any hormones anymore. If you have adrenal fatigue, it means that sometimes the adrenals produce too little and sometimes too much adrenaline. So that means your adrenals don't have an appropriate reaction to what's actually happening, or they just react randomly, ups and downs. And that can be a big problem, and that is resulting in the symptoms of adrenal fatigue, which also a lot of people don't understand. I mean, a lot of people know that, lack of energy, sometimes concentration issues, sometimes constipation are like, overall symptoms, crankiness, irritability. That can be like a starting point or some overall symptoms of adrenal fatigue. But there are symptoms that where you can really see if you have adrenal fatigue, and you really see it's because of these fluctuations of adrenal hormones, especially adrenaline and cortisol, that are getting released from your adrenals. And one of the main symptoms from adrenal fatigue, it's one of the most typical ones, are these energy crashes. So you wake up in the morning, one of the symptoms of adrenal fatigue is that you don't really feel rested even after a full night's sleep. But then it's kind of okay once you get up, and then you have your first energy crash in the morning. Maybe you need coffee to keep you going, to keep you functioning. Then you work more, you have your lunch break. After lunch break, you maybe feel next dip in your energy, but then you have more caffeine, and then you work more, and then you have another afternoon crash, and you need to take a nap if you're able to take one. And that's very typical for adrenal fatigue. You have these energy crashes, these ups and downs the whole day. Another typical symptom of adrenal fatigue is that you feel tired at work but wired at night. And that's one of the reasons, it shows really how adrenal fatigue works. Because the adrenals, when you have adrenal fatigue, they try to reserve adrenaline for emergency situations. Because if you have an emergency situation, that's what adrenaline is there for, to run away from a tiger, for example, or to this fight or flight. Okay, we all know that. Or maybe we don't all know that fight or flight, but it's that fight or flight situation where we need that adrenaline to, to do miraculous things to get us out of a bad situation. And when you have adrenal fatigue, your adrenals try to hold back that adrenaline when you're at work, because you're in an environment where something can happen all the time. There's all the time something can happen. And for that emergency, your adrenals hold back that adrenaline. And when there's no emergency, and because it holds back that adrenaline, you need a certain amount of adrenaline to just have energy. And cortisol, you just have like a regular energy, and that can make you feel tired already. But then when you come home at night, you feel more wired and you have more energy. Even though you feel tired and you want to sleep, you feel wired and you feel like awake in a way, even though you want to wind down kind of. And that's the moment where your adrenals release that reserve of adrenaline that was holding it back throughout the day when you were at work. And now you're having this high at the end of a day and you don't even know why. It's because of your adrenals. It's because they're weak. They're weakened. Your adrenals are weak. Some other symptoms, and you can have sleeping problems because you also need a good amount of adrenal hormones to have a proper and a good night's sleep. You can crave salt. Craving salt is a big one. You're very thirsty, but you can't quench a thirst. That's also a big one for adrenal fatigue. Dry mouth and eyes, very big one, because there's too much of adrenaline and cortisol burns out your electrolytes and it dehydrates you more. Then you have and that's also the reason why you need to drink so much the whole time. And it depletes minerals, which also causes the dehydration. You get dry mouth and eyes. You crave stimulants because if you don't get stimulants like caffeine, you just completely crash and you can't even function anymore. But meanwhile, the adrenaline the stimulants are making it worse down the road. So these are very typical symptoms there are a couple more of adrenal fatigue, but that's very typical for adrenal fatigue. And the reason why so many people nowadays almost everybody has adrenal fatigue at some point in their life. Some people have it more severe, some people don't have it that much, some people just feel like a little crashed after working out, some people can't even function and can't even work out. If you have severe adrenal fatigue, you can also have loss of libido as a woman, not as a man. It's also an adrenal problem because you need a certain amount of adrenaline to push the baby out when you're giving birth. If you don't have enough adrenaline reserves from your adrenals, your body is telling you, I don't want to have intercourse right now. It's a safety mechanism, actually. It's super clever from your body. It tells you, I don't want to have intercourse right now. I'm not able to have a pregnancy because I don't have enough adrenaline reserves from my adrenal glands. It's actually pretty miraculous. Hair loss, adrenal problem, because your adrenals also produce a certain hormone that keeps the hair follicles alive. And the reason why we have so many adrenal problems, so many weakened adrenals out there, is because we just don't know how to take care of them. We're having how many people are consuming caffeine every day? 90% of the world's population? I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I would guess that. It's almost everybody, let's be honest. Caffeine is the worst thing for your adrenals. It's weakening your adrenals like nothing else. It doesn't matter if it's from coffee, chocolate, matcha tea, black tea, green tea, white tea, whatever grass tea you want to drink. If it has caffeine, it prompts your adrenals to release lots of adrenaline, which is weakening your adrenals. Also bad for your brain, but it kills your adrenals. High fat, high protein diets. Every time you eat high fat, high protein, your bloodstream is filled with fats and your adrenals have to pump out lots of adrenaline to thin out the blood. That the strain on the heart is not getting too big from these fats in your bloodstream. Weakens your adrenals. High stress is weakening your adrenals. But if you take care of your adrenals, you can have high stress. I work 10 to 12 hours every day. I don't have weak adrenals because I know how to take care of them. Intermittent fasting in general, is weakening your adrenals. Every time you're not eating for 1.5 to 2 hours, your blood sugar drops and your adrenals go crazy because they produce adrenaline to keep you going, because when glucose is not there in your bloodstream to keep you functioning, because it's the main energy source for our bodies, the adrenals have to kick in to keep you going. That is weakening your adrenals as well. That's what's happening to everybody out there that is doing intermittent fasting. And healthy men that never had a health problem in their life can do that for decades and they still weaken their adrenals, but their adrenals are so strong that they can maintain this. Down the road, they get problems, but they can maintain it even for a very long time. But then when women are doing this, they tend to have weaker adrenals and they completely crash because of that, and they mess up their hormones. And then they wonder why they have bad hormonal results and bad hormonal test results. It's also because you have weak adrenals. There's so many things that just kill your adrenals every day, and there's no wonder why it happens. If you look, everybody's on caffeine, everybody eats high protein, high fat. A lot of people are doing fasting nowadays. Everybody is stressed. So it's just the best formula for adrenal fatigue. That's why 80 to 90% of the world's population are having adrenal fatigue at some point in their lives. And it can get really bad. It can be so bad that you lose your job, that you can't function anymore. It can be so bad that your performance lacks, that you make less money because of your adrenal fatigue, because you're not able to perform. Athletes can have big issues with adrenal fatigue because athletes, I used to be a professional soccer player, and I'm telling you, competitive sports is like really hard on your adrenals. If you don't take care of them, it can really burn out your adrenals. Especially female athletes. They're always more vulnerable for that. So, getting rid of adrenal fatigue is definitely possible. I had clients that got better with their adrenal fatigue in 2 to 3 months. And one of the examples is Mariana, for example, an accountant that works for Siemens. And she came to me because of her adrenal fatigue. She had like energy crashes after working out. She couldn't sleep good, had energy crashes throughout the day. When she took a nap, she was like completely falling asleep. Now when she's laying down, she closes her eyes for 10 minutes and then it's fine. So you can recover your adrenals if you're doing the right things, even in a very short time. And if you want to know how to heal your adrenals, if you really want to know how to take care of them with your diet, with specific herbs that you need to take to care for your adrenals, I offer everybody a free discovery call, especially if you're somebody that has a busy lifestyle, successful person, a professional business owner. Then book a call on my website for 20 to 30 minutes. It's a free call, free discovery call. The website is www.theobergmann.com. The link is in the description. And there we will call you for 20 to 30 minutes on the time you scheduled your call to figure out if and how I can help you in the first place, to see, is it actually a case where Theo can help? And if so, we would move on to a strategy call, which is a 60 to 90 minute free strategy call with me on Zoom, a one-on-one. And there I really look at your whole health history, assess everything, check what we need to do in order to get you better. I will show you a plan. I will map out a strategy for your specific situation. And I would highly recommend you doing that, because if you don't take care of your adrenals, I also made a video about why you need to have strong adrenals to be successful, and that's real. If you want to have success in your life, you need to have strong adrenals. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to handle stress. And if you want to be successful, you have to be able to handle stress. It is so important. And therefore, book your call if you want to get better, if you want to recover your adrenals. I did that so many times over and over again with my clients, and it's just, if you have strong adrenals, your life is changing, honestly. It's like one of the most important things you need to do next to cleansing your liver is taking care of your adrenals. It is so important, okay? So book your call. The link is in the description, www.theobergmann.com. And I'm stoked to talk with you about your situation and help you out. And thank you for watching that video. And talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.